Hello and welcome to the Tinkercats video gallery. Today I'm going to show you how to make this notepad note card storage, and it's a really good handbag size. The idea came about because I'm always hunting for a notepad, something to take notes when I'm out and about, and of course I never have anything in my handbag. And I'm very much a pen and paper girl. I can't just type notes into my mobile phone. It just won't work for me because I won't look them up there. So for this note card set, it's like a little sort of hardish cover. It's soft enough to sort of mold itself a little bit to your handbag, so it's not sort of like sticking out too much, or sort of that it gets a bit, that you get corners coming through or something. So yeah, it's sort of like a softish enough cover. It's got a little bit of give in it, and you got like a little notepad, and you got a pen, and then you got note cards and envelopes. If I'm just removing the pen here, then you can see that. Now they're fitting in quite snugly here. So that's your envelopes. So I need to be careful when I'm easing that one back in, because it is a bit of a snug fit, and I'm sort of toying with the idea of, when I'm doing my next one, actually putting the pen storage here, which would make it easier to access these bits, the envelopes and the note cards. And note cards, they are just, I'm not going to take these out because I've got a couple too many. So they're just little cards that are a bit more personal than just a piece of paper. If you want to leave a note for somebody, or someone asks you for some details, then you always got something really nice that you can use to give somebody. And the reason why I'm starting to make them this time of year is because I think they make really good Christmas gifts. Now, this video here is going to be one of several. I think it's probably going to be about 3, because the first one I thought we are just going to make the actual cover, and then we're going to decorate and assemble. So it could be 2 or 3, I'm not quite sure yet. So I'm going to make it in a different color than blue. This one's going to be yellow and orange. Right, so let me put this one to one side. And when we come to stamping the cover and the inside, the note cards, we'll be working with the sketched bloom set by Stamploration. So we also will be working with the box blooms, and we'll be working with the mini mix media as well. So I'll be introducing the sets as they come along. For the first video, we won't need them. Actually, I think it's sketched flowers, of flower sketches, whatever. Okay, right. I should look it up and get my terminology right, I suppose. Sorry, Sherry. It's that sunshine that you sent over from California to the UK. We've had sunshine over the last few days, and I don't know how to deal with it. Right, let's get back to basics here. So the measurements you will find all on the blog, and as to how many pieces to cut. So this is my largest piece, which measures 16 by 21.5 centimeters. And then I also got 2 smaller ones. And I got some card. Now this is just some sort of serial packaging that I'm using, because it's not too hard, it's relatively flexible, and when you cover it with card, it gives you the thickness that you require, really, so it's not too bad, that. Right, so let's just see. So this is how they will be fitting on. And when I do books like this, I tend to work with glue rather than just double-sided tape. So in the middle for the spine, I only got a very narrow one, because that keeps it more flexible, and it's less likely to buckle up than when it comes to the center one. Right. So saying that I tend to work with glue mainly is, I'm not quite sure what I saw. This might have been angel wings, but I saw it on YouTube somewhere about the spine and actually covering that all with double-sided tape, and I will be using a little bit of glue anyway in the end to sort of stick it down, because it gives me more time to move my spine around and into place. So for the moment I'm just going to cover the whole bit here, which I've scored in 10 centimeters from either side, so that gives me then the center bit here for the middle for my spine. So I'm just going to put some double-sided tape on there, and I've got this actually from a big double-sided tape sheet, and it just strengthens your spine here for the for movement, and makes your card less likely to break. So as I say, it's not entirely my idea, because I've seen it somewhere on YouTube, so I can't claim it for myself. But unfortunately, I can't remember whom I saw it, who made it, and so I can't give fully credit to it. So because it's not long enough, you can do this with double-sided tape, just narrow tape, and just layer it one sort of over the other. So I'm just going to do this here, get it all up to the top as well. Take this off anyway, and do this here. And do that at the bottom as well. So that's just for the strength, for the overall strength of your little book. So take them off. Right. And now I'm going to stick my cereal packets down. So should you see any pattern, I just want you to know I'm not being paid by anybody to do some advertising here. Other cereals do exist too. So let's just liberally apply glue. Try and get as close to the edges as you can as well, because that will make your book more stable, and you won't get the edges flicking over. And this is where I remember that I should have said prepare your cardboard first, but hey, there we go, this is life. And normally what I do when I use cardboard like this, I just run some ink around the edges to prepare it so that you're not getting the grey coming through. So let me just quickly do that with the other one. I'm just going to use some yellow ink. No, let's use the orange one. Let's use orange ink to just quickly run it along the edges. So I just literally mean something like that, so you get the side here covered. So that is one. And with the little spine, you only need to do the top and the bottom edge really. So that is really more so that you don't get any grey shining through. We'll be going over the edges anyway, and if it shows a little bit, then it shows a little bit on mine here, unfortunately. I didn't quite remember to do it in time. So just make sure it's sort of butted up against the front edge. Right, let's get my second piece of card on. And again, try and apply the glue quite close to the edges. You can always wipe excess off, that so squishes out a little bit, but it's a lot more difficult to go back in and add some. And I do really like using glue for these because it helps me better in positioning. I know a lot of you might want to use double-sided tape. If that is what works best for you, please feel free to do it. just put this on here. So put it up relatively close to the edge here. Okay, and then position it down, and having the glue will allow you to slightly move it despite having the double-sided tape as well. So that will just help in positioning it on your cover here. So there we go. As you can see, a little bit has come out. You can always wipe it off. Get a little something to wipe that off. There we go. And now next we're going to do the little spine in the middle. Okay, so try and get it as central as you can. Oops, this is where the glue tends to roll a little bit. Okay, so this is one thing, and if you were to lift it up now, you can see that it moves quite freely. And then next I got two smaller pieces which I scored. They're about half the width because I'm going to have a join in the middle. It hopefully prevents buckling up later. And so what I've done is I've just sort of like cut a bigger piece, roughly cut it in half, and then from one side in I just scored 10 centimeters down. And I'm going to already fold that over even before I'm sticking it down. So I'm first applying my glue again, sort of relatively close to the edge. As I said, you can always wipe any excess off, but the adding it is a lot more difficult. Okay, so you might have noticed that on my little bit I haven't put any glue on just yet, which I've done on purpose. So this goes here. So let's just pop that on and stick that down. And I'm going to stick the other side on first before I do stick the middle bits down, so that they have already set slightly into place. So fold this over again. See, my covers will have set slightly with the glue then, so that should be easier then. Right. So this is also a wonderful way of recycling, because sort of you think, oh, I'm putting all this cardboard from cereal boxes or whatever, it's all going to go into recycling or in the bin. And I mean, this, you're just making use of something that had its use in the first place. You're just sort of giving it a different purpose, really. Right. So that goes on here. Stick it down. So I've left a little, made this a little bit shorter actually than the other one you might have seen. So I've got like a little bit here in the middle, so which should hopefully help. And I'm going to stick something over it in the end, so that's not a big problem. So I'm just going to put my glue down here. Okay. And try and stick this down. So as you see, if I move this now, those two will come together. So it just gives a little bit more of a give. So let's just see that can give a little bit of a, and let that settle for a while once I get my glue off my fingers and off my craft mat here, of course. Right, so basically this has got to set now before we can do anything else with it. And just show you here, so you can see there is the grey is blended in, and here you sort of see it a little bit. So I'm hoping that later on I just go around it with because I've got the matching markers, so I'll just go around with the markers and give it a little added something. So now this needs to dry now, and that's the reason I've got to sort of interrupt this video now. So when I come back, this will be dry, or at least when I come back to this it will be dry, and I will also have measured my little spine up to sit here in the middle, and I will have that one glued into place, and then we'll be doing the inner pockets of it. So I just put this to one side, and we're just going to go over then to the next video, which is the stamping of the note cards and the stamping of the inner bits, really. So, but this here needs to dry, so can't do much else with it, unfortunately. Okay, so thanks for watching, and hope to see you soon. Bye.